This is the Diamond Hawgs Podcast with Mason Choate and Robert Stewart.
Welcome to the Diamond Hawgs Podcast. I'm your host, Mason Choate. We are live from Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. I have Robert Stewart right beside me, and we are talking to you after Arkansas just completely demolished Oklahoma State, 18-1. You know, they're in the first inning when Rock Reggio had his single and he slipped around the bag, and then the Arkansas fans are booing, Oklahoma State fans are cheering. He's saying, come on, bring it to the Oklahoma State fans, and then he turns, shushes the Arkansas fans, and I really feel like from that moment on, Hunter Holland was like, all right, and the Arkansas lineup was like, all right, and it was all Hogs after that.
I'll be honest, I don't know if I've ever seen a reaction to a first inning single like that on the opening weekend of the season.
After you just slipped and embarrassed yourself.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I get it from his perspective. Like, you know, he came up to the plate. Arkansas fans were booing him, you know, rightfully so. You know, you have this whole off season, and I mean, Arkansas went to the College World Series. A lot of stuff happened, but the postseason, it was the Stillwater Regional. You know, like that was the defining moment of the Stillwater Regional, was when Rock Reggio did the little prancing around the bases. And I feel like Arkansas fans wanted that win. There were some players that wanted that win. And
Connor Nolan told us on Friday that you better believe the players wanted that win.
So Arkansas goes 2-1 at the College Baseball Showdown. You get a win over Texas on Friday night, 3-2. Hagen Smith deals. That's your ace, ladies and gentlemen.
Not even a question at this point.
That is your ace. And then Saturday, you know, disappointing loss. You lost 18-6 to TCU, right? That was the score. I mean, what are you gonna say? Like, we didn't even record the podcast afterwards, so we had technical issues on Friday. That's why we didn't record after Texas. We didn't record the podcast after the TCU game because we're like, okay, what are you talking about? They lost.
They hit solo home runs. That was cool for them.
Yeah, hey, Jared Wagner, 3-run bomb. Jared Wagner have a weekend.
I mean, that was some crazy stuff from Jared Wagner. If he had just gotten that triple against TCU, then we could have talked about a cycle.
Well, yeah, I kind of made it into a cycle by myself because I was like, hey, in his last 6 at bats, he had a cycle with his was it a triple that he opened the game with against who they just play, Oklahoma State?
Yeah, it was 2-0 in the second, and then he hit a bases clearing triple with 2 outs, I believe.
So
the 2-out hitting on Sunday was incredible.
So if you count his first at bat against Oklahoma State, he had a cycle.
First at bat, yes. He was hitting the first.
Yes. Oh, he was hitting the first?
But it wasn't at bat.
Oh, okay. Well, we have a lot to get to in this episode because we have to recap the whole weekend. But before we do, as always, I want to remind you about Matt Morris State Farm. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Matt Morris State Farm, and we are so thankful for him and all he does, not only to help out the podcast so we can bring you guys great content on the road like this, but for what he does to protect us when we're on the road. I have State Farm insurance, and it is great. I have full coverage. It's at a great rate, and it's because of people like Matt Morris. So give him a call. You can get a great rate. You can get full coverage, not only auto insurance, home insurance, life insurance. It is great, and he covers people not just in Central Arkansas, but in all of Arkansas. Like Matt Morris, he's checking off all these boxes for you, so you need to give him a call. It's 501-568-3222, Matt Morris State Farm. 501-568-3222. Thank you to Matt Morris State Farm. I hope that people can hear us in these mics because I can barely even hear myself right now.
It is loud behind us. It's going to be rough.
Yeah, this video is going to be demonetized. That is for sure. But I mean, it was so after Saturday, it was disappointing. You know.
Sure.
But also, Arkansas gave up after the 6th inning.
Yeah, I mean, they without a doubt waved the white flag. You know, I mean, let's see. Gage Wood, Parker Coyle, Sean Fitzpatrick, Cooper Dossett, and Ben Bybee. 5 freshman pitchers made their debut, and 8 pitchers threw in that game. Or was it 9? It was 9.
It was 9.
So, yeah, I mean, after Zach Morris left the game, like it was over. Gage Wood was sort of shell-shocked in the big moment, allowed inherited runners to score. Austin Ledbetter didn't have it going, and nobody after him did either. So, yeah. And they just couldn't get things going offensively either. Like there was one runner all night who reached to lead off an inning, and it was Kendall Diggs hitting a solo shot. So, that hardly even counts.
Yeah.
You can't start a rally that way.
So we'll get to more of the TCU game, but let's start with Friday night against Texas. Hagen Smith, story of the game, I think. It was a close game. Arkansas wins 3-2, but Hagen Smith, take us through Hagen Smith's start, Robert.
Yeah, Hagen Smith going against Lucas Gordon, that duel just had Friday night written all over it. We were talking about it in the moment, but 5 scoreless from both guys. Hagen Smith facing the minimum through 4. Had a couple of double play balls, 4-6-3 in the first, 6-4-3 in the second, and then 6 up, 6 down, innings 3 and 4. Ran into a little bit of trouble in the 5th with 2 straight walks, but Magic Matt Hobbs coming out and working his magic, gets the sack bunt, 2 guys in scoring position with 1 out, and then 2 punchies, and call it a day for Hagen Smith. 8 strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 hit, no runs in 5 innings. That's ace material. I don't know how else to say it.
It is ace material. And it's another example of a guy who had to step up. You saw it last year, Connor Nolan. Now you see it with Hagen Smith. He stepped up. Not only did he step up, but he stepped up on the first game against Texas, who, yes, Texas lost a lot of pieces. We knew that. You could tell they had some young guys, some inexperienced guys. But Hagen Smith did what he needed to do, and he did it really well. 8 strikeouts. He's your ace. And one thing that we noticed was they were saying it was a slider in here. What did he call it? I can't remember.
Cutter?
I guess it was his cutter, but so they show what the pitch is, but it's not very accurate here in Globe Life Field.
I think they guess what the pitch is based on how fast it was, which is not really a good way to do that.
So, whatever, if it was the cutter, if that's what Hagen Smith described it as, his cutter is just almost unhittable because he at least struck out half of the batters with that pitch. And then he was also, maintaining his velocity. That was something that we saw a lot last year, was he would throw like an inning, 2 innings, and he would go from, 95 on the fastball to, hey, he's down to 91. And by the end of the year, he was starting at 91.
Right.
And he was still throwing 93, 94 by the time he left.
Right, and, that's one of the several reasons that, this whole pitching staff, this whole team has the utmost confidence in him. We heard from Brady Tiger Friday night after the game. I asked Brady Tiger and Hagen Smith what they thought of the other's performance. Hagen said something along the lines of, Brady Tiger, as soon as he was in, I knew it was over. And Tiger responded, from inning 1, Hagen Smith on the mound, I knew it was over then.
It was good to see Brady Tiger on a roll, because the way he ended last season was just tough. He really hit the wall and didn't really bounce back. Hagen Smith kind of bounced back in the postseason, but for Brady, he was the best closer in all of college baseball at one point last year. But for Brady Tiger to come out on Friday night and shut things down, and not only shut things down, but he looked like Brady Tiger, the Brady Tiger that we know, the Brady Tiger that racked in a ton of preseason honors. That's really good for Arkansas, especially if he can maintain it.
Yeah, absolutely, and the longevity too, right? It was a 5-out save that he recorded, 3 strikeouts. And it's not just that he got a 5-out save. It was 3-2 in the 8th when he came in. He's facing 2 guys on base with 1 out, and just like Smith in the 5th, just punch the 2 guys you face out. And it was on 8 pitches, so he wasn't gassed or anything. He was able to come out and go 1, 2, 3 in the 9th as well. So again, great start on the mound, great finish on the mound for Smith and Tiger, but it would be criminal to overlook the guys who threw in the middle as well. Cody Adcock and Cody Frank making their Razorback debuts, combining for 2 1/3, 4 hits. Adcock did give up 2 runs, 1 solo shot to lead off the 7th, and then Frank threw a wild pitch that allowed a double to score that was charged to Adcock. But matter of the fact is, Texas didn't have a hit with runners in scoring position Friday night, and that was the difference in the game. It seemed like Dave Van Horn wasn't really happy after that win, because Arkansas didn't really play well, or not play well, but swing the bat well in situations they needed to. Brady Slavens doubled to lead off the 8th, and then he didn't score because the heart of the order couldn't get it done.
Yeah. Speaking of we'll get to Caleb Cowley later, but Caleb Cowley definitely had a rough weekend.
It's too bad we're hyping him up.
Yeah. I mean, we can still have him on.
Oh, yeah. He's going to bounce back. Should we pause for this?
Yeah.
You guys hear this national anthem?
I guess we should stand. Definitely gonna have to leave that in the podcast. No, I'm being dead serious.
No. Yeah, let's just keep going.
There's like 100 fans here for Missouri TCU, by the way.
We were talking about this earlier. It probably makes sense to have Missouri play the last game on Sunday because they just don't have that many fans here, and you know, people want to go home. They don't want to wait around to leave.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were talking about Caleb Cali. Braden Webb comparison. It makes sense, right? Because both.
Yeah, but Braden Webb didn't get pulled.
That is true. Braden Webb did not get pulled because he was the best defensive center fielder Dave Van Horn's ever had, allegedly. But as at the plate, Webb, his 2021 fall, very good. Cali, his 2022 fall, very good. And then, you know, big offer to start the year. Like you said, Webb didn't get pulled. That was a drastic stretch we didn't see coming this weekend. But, you know, I still think that Caleb Cali is going to bounce back in a big way, and you know it's entirely possible that he leads the team in OPS and strikeouts this year.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think Caleb Cali's a really talented player. It's unfortunate, you know, you have all these people who weren't out at the scrimmages, you know, watching this team like we were, and so they only judge by what they saw from Caleb Cali on Flow Sports this weekend, and that's just not the Caleb Cali that you're going to see the rest of the year. It's just not. But credit to Jason Jones for stepping up. You know, he played well, did what he was supposed to do, limited the mistakes in the time that he got. He hit a home run.
Yeah.
But as far as the game against Texas, you know, great opening day win, and Arkansas gets the job done against a good Texas team, and you're feeling good going up against TCU, who had, I mean, they just boat raced Vanderbilt.
11-4 on Friday. In the middle game, yeah.
Yeah, but okay, so the first inning, though, so Will McIntyre goes out, gives up 3 in the first, and you could tell just, like, right from the jump, Will McIntyre doesn't have it.
He's just not locating.
Dave Van Horn said he's not locating. You know, we were talking up in the press box, like, Will doesn't have it. He might make it 2 innings. How far did he go, like an inning and a third?
Inning and a third, 4 earned runs. So he recorded as many outs as he gave up runs.
So, tough outing for Will McIntyre. Not great for the script writers of his 2023 Golden Spikes Award.
Listen.
Hey, Kevin Kopp's had some bad outings, too.
Right behind us. 2 years ago, his Golden Spikes year. He did not have his, I mean, I'll just say it was his worst outing of the year. And then he, you know, the rest is history. .9 ERA.
Yeah. So,
Golden Spikes.
It's
still in the script.
Yeah, let's pump the brakes on the Will McIntyre hate. Let's pump the brakes on the Arkansas baseball hate, to be quite honest with you. I mean, the people who were overreacting, I can't tell if it's a bit or not, to be honest with you, of the people saying, like, this team isn't good, this team can't hit, all this crap against, in the TCU game. Like, are you kidding me?
I mean, by the time we finish recording this podcast, TCU may have 5 runs behind us.
Yeah, like, TCU is a really good baseball team.
I will be shocked if they don't hang 10 on Missouri right now.
I mean, a really good baseball team. And Arkansas lost the game. There were some bright spots. They tied the game up in the bottom of the first with the 3-run homer from Jared Wegner. Like, that was huge.
That was huge.
You had the home run from Hudson Polk.
I was about to say, shout out to Hudson Polk for tying it with a home run as well.
Hudson Polk, you mentioned the Kendall Diggs home run earlier, I believe.
Yes.
So,
I mean, again, Zach Morris did a really good job of settling things down. Like, he gets credit for the loss, and that's brutal because, 3 1/3. At the time he left the game, he hadn't given up any runs, but then, as we mentioned earlier, Wood was struggling a little bit. But
the thing with Gage Wood, another, here's what happened in the press box. I leaned over to, I think it was somebody, another media member, and I was like, Gage Wood looks extremely nervous.
Right.
When Matt Hobbs visited him, you could tell, no offense to Gage Wood whatsoever, because I think he's a great pitcher. He's going to have a great year. The lights were a little too bright for him in that moment, and it didn't work out. But then Sunday he redeemed himself. So.
Right. I mean, that's a decision that you can justify too. I mean, we heard it from Dave Van Horn after the Oklahoma State win that he's been throwing strikes all fall, all off season. Like, it's not really something that you need to worry too much about. Like you said, lights were a little too bright for his debut, but I think he's going to figure it out and be an important piece for this bullpen. I mean, at TCU, they're just an incredible team. Like, I know they're ranked number 15 in D1 baseball, but by the time you're listening to this, they should be in the top 10. Preseason Big 12 favorite to win the conference among the coaches. Everybody in this lineup had at least one hit, at least one run, at least one RBI against Arkansas. Like, they're just good. They had the most all-conference selections. You don't need to sweat that one too much, especially when you go out and hang 18 on Oklahoma State the next day.
Well, I mean, if Arkansas would have gone 0 for this weekend, I still don't think you need to sweat it too much. But they went 2-1, and so they you like that. Yeah, the TCU game. I mean, at least if you want to take some positives, Jared Wegner, Hudson Polk home run, and you got a lot of young arms on the mound in a big league ballpark in live action.
They now know what it's like. So
yeah, so that's what you can take away from the TCU game. That's our TCU recap. And, I mean, you should be glad that we didn't put out an episode on Saturday night, because that would have been it. It would have been 3 minutes. Right. Arkansas got their butts kicked.
And we had just covered a 4-hour game, so we weren't really able to talk
11:30. It was 11:30. All right, before we move on to the Oklahoma State beatdown, Matt Morris State Farm. Just as your local State Farm agent combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates, you can combine your home and auto, and guess what you'll get? That's right, good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. In fact, State Farm agent Matt Morris is your go-to agent located in Central Arkansas for the service you deserve at the price you want. This is what I was talking to you about. You get the service you need, full coverage. We have full coverage on our way there, on our way back, always, not just on this trip, but always, with Matt Morris State Farm. And you can get that too. State Farm, great. They give you great rates, great coverage, full coverage, home, auto, life. Get it with Matt Morris State Farm, 501-568-3222. Thank you to Matt Morris State Farm. All right, so we kind of hit on some things from the Oklahoma State game already. Hunter Holland, man. Hunter Holland is going,
Connor Nolan called it.
He's just...
Sunday's a great role for him.
And he said it himself. Right. He was like, I like Sunday because if it's 2-0, we're going to get the sweep. If it's 1-1, we're going to get the series win. So that Hunter Holland's just a dude, and he's a winner.
First pitch,
absolutely.
6:29.
6:29 first pitch.
The temperature is 72 degrees inside the building with the roof closed. Temperature outside is 67 degrees.
All right.
Thank you very much.
6:29 first pitch.
Okay.
Why did he end on that?
Temperature 72 degrees inside, 67 outside.
Okay, I think he's done.
You know that Geico commercial where the gecko is on the conference call and they keep being muted?
Or whatever. Yeah, that's a great.
That's what just happened.
That's a great commercial. My favorite Geico commercial is the one where he's like, "It's my mom's secret recipe. It's a secret recipe.
It's my mom's secret recipe."
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, shop at Matt Morris State Farm.
Yeah, we should actually edit that out. Actually, hey, Patrick Mahomes, State Farm, Chiefs fan, right?
Who was that guy?
Yeah, Okay, go ahead.
Where were we?
Oklahoma State, Arkansas. We talked about Hunter Holland.
Hunter Holland shoves. Yeah, 4 innings. Probably could have gone 5. What was his pitch count? Like 68, maybe. It was close to 70. I'm pretty sure. Hunter Holland. Yeah, I mean, if the Hogs don't put up a 5 spot
68
in a 10-1 game in the 5th inning, then you're gonna see 5 innings out of Hunter Holland. I think that's his floor. And it's amazing too. The guy told us that he didn't have his best stuff, and he sure looked pretty good. But there's one thing in particular I want to address about his outing, and that was his mindset against Rock Reggio and Nolan McLean. Right, we talked about the Reggio hit. And then he hit Reggio the second time up. Nolan McLean right after that, he walks him twice. He knows you don't want to let Reggio and McLean beat you, so when you don't get that first strike call, there's no reason to try to pitch to McLean, because we all saw in Stillwater last year the kind of pop that McLean has. Anyway,
keep going. Sorry.
David Mendham, the first baseman behind him, he knew he could get him out. Fielder's choice, strikeout, and then
It's a double.
That was double behind us, and then a strikeout behind Mendham. No runs in either of the innings when Reggio and McLean hit. So, good game plan, executed well.
Yeah, and Peyton Stovall told us that he's been hanging out a lot with Hunter Holland, and Hunter Holland has just only been talking about how excited he is to pitch. So the vibe I get from this dude is that he just wants to play baseball, and he's really good at doing that. And Arkansas is so lucky to have him for 1 year, because he's gone after this year. So appreciate what you get from him.
And you can imagine all that anxiety to pitch was just amplified by the 18-run pounding.
Oh yeah,
from TCU last night. I mean,
so he gets in trouble, in the bottom of the first. He was in trouble a little bit, had runners on, gets out of it, and then Arkansas goes and scores 5 in the top of the second, 5 in the top of the third, and so he gets that cushion, that 10-run cushion. And then you mentioned it, by the time that they were up 15-1 going into the bottom of the fifth, there was no reason to throw him back out there.
Right. And that's the thing too, is like all the offense was great to save the bullpen, because you used so many arms on Saturday. Frank, Adcock, Wood coming out for their second appearances each. I wonder how that changes if it's not a 17-run decision, right?
Yeah, no, and also you have the 10-run rule, so that went into effect. So they only played 7 innings. So it's like
the penny even further.
You only had to use Cody Frank, Cody Adcock, Gage Wood 1 inning each.
Don't stretch them out. No reason to.
Adcock threw the most pitches at 17. So that that helped, because we were talking about it going into the game. Is like, with all the arms that they used on Saturday, Zach Morris wasn't going to throw again. Will McIntyre wasn't going to throw again. We felt like Adcock could probably throw again. Tigert probably could have thrown again as well. So it was. I think it was more of an issue of going into the game of, if Holland goes out and struggles, Arkansas might be in trouble.
Right, but we knew he wasn't going to do that.
Yeah, you felt like Holland was going to go out and do what we've all expected him to do. To have a guy like that on a Sunday.
It's incredible. He's going to be an incredible piece for this Arkansas pitching staff. And before we get too far away from it, I want to bring up Cody Adcock, because Dave Van Horn talked a little bit about him in the postgame Sunday. This is a guy who is probably, you're going to see him start a few games this year.
Yeah.
They feel comfortable about his longevity. Probably can get 4 or 5 innings. Who knows if we'll see him Tuesday against Grambling, but this is somebody who is probably going to start some midweeks, and if Smith or McIntyre or Holland fades or get hurt or anything like that, Adcock is going to be a great guy for a spot start.
We have a tweet from Peyton Stovall, Jared Wegner. That's the tweet.
Yeah, that's a pretty good segue, because we
Jared.
got a lot of offense to talk about.
Yeah. So Jared Wegner, five RBIs. He hit another tank. Jared Wegner, tank. I think that's what we're going with this year. Jared Wegner, tank.
There you go.
I've already made the graphic. I tweeted it out. It's just his face on a tank.
We didn't even consult each other about this, by the way.
No.
He saw my tweet, and that's how it happened.
Jared Wegner, tank. Yeah, this dude's just a hitter. He's going to probably be SEC Player of the Week. or co-player of the week, whatever it is. But the college baseball world is on notice.
He was, 6 for 11 this weekend?
2 bombs. How many RBIs did he have? 8?
5 plus, how many?
3 on Saturday.
Yeah. 8 ribs, 6 for 11. I don't have my laptop in front of me, but when I tally the averages and the percentages, he's probably got an OPS north of 2,000 at this point. So
he's a hitter.
He's a hitter.
He is a hitter. The rest of the Arkansas lineup, for the most part, I thought did really well outside of Caleb Cowley. There wasn't really anybody who you're expecting to be your normal starters. Maybe Jace Borafin. I feel like Borafin, probably could have done a little bit better.
Borafin did have a couple of knocks on Sunday, so that was,
Who didn't?
As Dave Van Horn would say, that was good to see.
Yeah.
Jace Borafin, 0 for 3. Did get pinch hit for in the late stages of the TCU beatdown. He was 1 for 3 in the first game as well. So,
but
worth noting that 2 of his 3 knocks this weekend were infield singles. So, he has the prowess to beat them out, I guess.
So Cowley goes 7 strikeouts and 8 at-bats.
And the other one was a double play.
Yeah. So, really bad weekend for Caleb Cowley. Jason Jones ends up replacing him against TCU, hits a nuke. Jason Jones is the best hitter ever when he knows that it's just going to go right down the down the middle.
He catches as much barrel with the ball as you could possibly catch.
Well, he's also like the king of hitting just absolute bombs when the game is just decided and it doesn't matter.
Right. You may recall, if you listen to press conferences, the story that Dave Van Horn told in January about how it was, a 3-0 count in a 5 or 6 run game, and he hit a ball 117 miles an hour, 117 off the bat, and 440 something.
Yeah, but none of this is to discredit anything about Jason Jones. A great ball player, he played his role really well at third base, didn't make any mistakes.
Right.
And when he got to the plate, he didn't. It's not like he struck out 7 times in 8 at bats. No offense, Caleb Cowley. I'm just saying, Jason Jones did a good job for a freshman on the big stage, and you're probably going to see a lot more of him moving forward in some sort of role. But Caleb Cowley's going to play a lot of baseball for Arkansas, so don't get that twisted either.
Right. Jason Jones struck out 1 time in 7 plate appearances this weekend, so it was a pretty disciplined showing for the freshman. He also walked 3 times on Sunday, so, the Oklahoma State pitchers, they didn't really have it, sort of similar to the way the Arkansas pitchers didn't have it Saturday. But, that's encouraging to see from a freshman.
Okay. Anything else we need to clean up? I mean, there's a lot of stuff we could talk about.
Josenberger went yard.
Josenberger, dinger.
Big for the brand. He was on base 2 out of 4 times on Sunday.
All right.
Stovall with 2 knocks. I mean, I tweeted the situational hitting stats in my final score tweet on Sunday, but that was really what made the difference in the game. Stovall 2-out RBI hit. Dave Van Horn brought this up, but the 5th inning, Josenberger, after 2 strikeouts at the bottom of the order to start the inning, Josenberger goes yard, walk, Slavin's 2-run double, hit by pitch, walk, RBI walk. 7 straight guys reach after the Josenberger home run with 2 outs. So, and then the third, 5 unearned runs because you can't give Arkansas extra outs. They'll make you pay. Jared Wegner in particular with that 2-run knock. 2-run tank.
Jared Wegner tank. You just go up and down the lineup, talk about guys. Brady Slavens, he's back. Brady Slavens looked good. Kendall Diggs. Talk about a hitter. Kendall Diggs is all he does is he's just a great hitter of baseballs.
He puts the ball in play. That's all you can ask for.
Parker Rowland, I didn't really like what I saw from him at the plate. But at least he got to play. We heard that he was going to play.
Right.
Figured he was going to play Sunday if he didn't, the 2 previous days.
It makes sense to start somebody who can swing left-handed against a right-handed pitcher, especially after a night game, and this is an afternoon game. It just made sense that Rowland would start the Sunday game.
John Bolton.
John Bolton with a knock Sunday, a knock Saturday, and 2 knocks Friday. 4 hits, and he drove in 3 runs in 3 days against some top-tier competition. Not bad from an Austin Peay transfer.
Yeah, no, he did great at the plate. The thing that people are going to say is, and it's true, he struggled with, helping turn double plays. Like that was somewhere. What's the word I'm looking for? Giving it to Stovall to first.
Turn?
No, not turn. No, it's like the giving it to him. What is that word?
Toss?
No.
Pitch?
No. The
Transfer?
He struggled with the transfer of the baseball, and that's you got to get that figured out because you're but it's tough because you're so used to battles and more, and that was just a guarantee every single time. And that a lot of teams it's not like that. So maybe you're coming back down to earth as a watcher of Arkansas baseball, just realizing you're not going to get it every time.
Right. We had been talking, I guess, the first couple episodes about what a smooth fielder John Bolton is, and he still for the most part looked pretty good this weekend, but like you said, the double plays weren't there. The double plays, Saturday, if they could have turned 1 out into 2, then maybe it's not 18-6.
Yeah.
I don't know, there weren't errors, and I understand that you can't assume the double play, at least for scoring purposes. But it'll get better. I think it'll get better. Maybe not to Robert Moore, Jalen Battles level, but
yeah. Quick hitters from Sunday. You saw some extra guys get in. Mason DeVille had a hit. Peyton Holt had a hit. Ben McLaughlin got in. Reese Robinette had a hit. Hunter Grimes, did he have a hit?
yes, he did.
Harold Cole, sack fly.
The Texas Rangers PA announcer did not get the memo about how to pronounce Mason DeVille's last name, by the way.
It's not Neville, it's Neville. Neville.
Yeah, Neville played really well. He had a hit and a walk. Peyton Holt with an RBI knock. I mean, it was good to empty the bench and get him some reps against some top-tier competition, top 10 competition.
Yeah. Yep. All right, you ready to wrap this up with weekend MVPs?
Weekend MVPs.
All right, you think about it, I'll read about Matt Morris.
Oh, man.
Matt Morris State Farm is the reason we are here in Arlington. We're so thankful for Matt Morris State Farm. We're covered by State Farm, and that's not only on this trip; it's all the time. Great rates. I mean, you're not going to get a better rate You're not going to get a better rate anywhere. It's State Farm. They are your good neighbor. There's a reason they say that they're your good neighbor, and it's because they give you a good rate. They're trying to help you out, and they also provide you with more than just auto insurance. They also have life and home insurance. So give Matt Morris a call. He's located in Central Arkansas, but he doesn't cover just in Central Arkansas. He'll cover all of Hog Country. He's a U of A alum. He loves Arkansas baseball, so you can call him, chat to him just talk to him about Arkansas baseball, about the Diamond Hawgs pod, all that. Give him a call, 501-568-3222, to get those surprisingly great rates. Do you have your weekend MVP, Robert?
Yeah, I assume that you're going to take the easy route at the plate, so...
Jared Wegner
Yeah.
is my MVP at the plate. Congratulations to Jared Wegner. I asked him, Jared, what is your overall assessment of your weekend?
He said it was fun.
He said it was fun and it was good. So that's why I give Jared Wegner. I mean...
Hashtag analysis.
The thing about Jared is that no pitcher that was here could do anything to stop him that threw against Arkansas. He is a hitter. He's put the nation on notice, and I think he's going to have an incredible season. He's leaving opening weekend with a pair of bombs against ranked teams. 2 teams that could easily be in Omaha at the end of the year.
Yeah.
That's my MVP at the plate.
Well, I talked about how John Bolton had 4 hits, but I'm actually going to give this one to Brady Slavens as for 2 games as the table setter for Jared Wegner. He had an impressive return, Slavens did, in Friday's opener, 2 for 4 with a single and a double, both of which led off innings, one of which led off the 3-run frame that ultimately did the job for Arkansas. So shout out to Brady for coming back, setting the table. Also the double before Wegner's home run in the first on Saturday, and A little 2-run double in the 5th on Sunday. So, Brady Slavens, welcome back, weekend MVP.
I'm gonna go with Hunter Holland at the plate.
On the mound.
On the mound. Sorry. I like Hunter Holland, man. I like listening to him talk. I like his swagger. I like the way that he rolled up his pants. I thought it made him look more dominant on the mound, to be quite honest with you. He is so good. There were a couple times when he had runners on, and I mean, he just he was working from the stretch the whole time, and he just
Takes care of business.
just ice in his veins. There were at least 2 innings where he had runners on. It was a tight situation. Like Oklahoma State, it's not like they were going to come back and tie it up with a hit, but they could have made it a game again. And Hunter Holland got a strikeout to end the inning both times. He's just ice. He's nails. I like Hunter Holland. He's my weekend MVP on the mound.
That was a good choice. I wanted to take it, but alas,
I got the two good ones.
Yeah.
No, Hagen Smith.
No, I was about to say. I mean, that's a pretty good consolation prize in Hagen Smith. Setting the tone for everybody with 5 shutout innings on Friday. We've mentioned it. Texas is not the same team. Went 0-3 this weekend against the teams from the SEC. By the way, shout out to former Hog Dylan Leach for walking Texas off on Saturday.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
That was incredible.
Also, before we get off here, we need to talk about your souvenir from Friday.
Oh yeah. Okay, so who was playing?
It was TCU and Vanderbilt. By the way, Hagen Smith, not much to say. We'll call it their weekend MVP. Already said what needed to be said. Okay,
Yeah.
TCU Vanderbilt.
Braden Taylor. Braden Taylor hits a home run, so we're out in right field. He hits a home run. It's coming straight towards us. I jump over the seats. The ball knocks a cup holder off.
Will you go find Exhibit A for us?
Yeah, just knocks it clean off. And, of course, I grabbed the ball, and, I'm
First order of business.
I'm flocked by children, and, what am I supposed to do? I have to give the ball to a kid, I look like a weirdo if I don't give it to a kid, but
it's in the unwritten rules of baseball.
But also, if you're a parent and you're raising your children to go hound people for a foul ball, get the foul ball yourself, kid.
I mean, I don't know if they're raising their children to do that.
I'm just saying,
are just excited.
I get it, but also it's like, why is there always a kid ruining? Like, maybe I want the ball, I would like to have the ball.
I would like to say that this is cooler, though. Show the people on YouTube.
This is an official broken off cup holder from Globe Life Field. I did not. Nah, technically I stole it. I mean, like, it broke off. What were they gonna do with it? Trash it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, like, this is better than any koozie you could ever get.
I was about to say, it's a way cooler koozie.
Yeah. So I'm excited to drink some silver bullets out of this bad boy.
There you go.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights of my weekend. There's a video of it on my Twitter. Just, pure athleticism.
The vibes on Friday were just immaculate.
Yeah. So we had a great weekend. We're looking forward to getting back to Ball and Walker, though, get some pulled pork fries. The food I will say one thing about Globe Life Field, the food stinks out loud.
It was not great.
So if you're coming to Globe Life, probably go to eat before you get to the ballpark. Texas Live was cool, though.
Texas Live was cool.
Anything else?
I enjoyed it. Tuesday, 3 p.m., Grambling. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, I'm so excited to be back at Ball and Walker.
I know. Long trip back, but you know what?
Yeah.
We're gonna make the most of it, and we're gonna be at home on Tuesday.
All right.
Sounds great.
We'll talk to everybody on Tuesday. Thank you to Matt Moore, State Farm. Thank you to Robert Stewart. Thank you to everybody for listening. Reporting live from Globe Life Field, I'm Mason Choate.
You've been listening to the Diamond Hawgs Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Choate Mason and at DRStew32.